I've had a few friends that are now 6 feet under because of the issue.
The DEA calls it the deadliest drug threat our country has ever faced.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the federal government through the DEA warning all citizens about the drug called Tranq that is sweeping our nation. Now, this drug is a horse tranquilizer called xylazine mixed with fentanyl. So although the tranquilizer is not an opioid, the purpose of it in this context is to increase the potency of fentanyl, which goes right back to the opioid crisis that has been plaguing our nation for many, many years now, that has killed over 100,000 Americans in 2022. And if I'm wrong about that, y'all let me know in the comments below. Now, there's quite a bit I could say here. Some say, hey, legalize all drugs, ABL. That'll solve the problem. Some say, hey, let's create shooting galleries. Before I get to all those questions, comments, concerns, solutions, let's go back a little bit and look at the video. If you want to see this video in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio and go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I've had a few friends that are now 6 feet under because of the issue.
The DEA calls it the deadliest drug threat our country has ever faced. Boston 25 News reporter Drew Caritas first told us about Tranq last fall. And Drew, several of the people you spoke with tonight had friends die due to this Narcan-resistant drug.
Mark, the latest data from a state-funded collaborative tracking program shows that about a third of New England's illegal street drug supply is laced with xylazine, also known as Tranq and the zombie drug. As you just mentioned, those we talked with tonight believe recent overdoses involving people they know are linked to this animal tranquilizer.
And you know what? Let's pause right here. They said 1/3 of the supply in Massachusetts is laced with this. I remember not too long ago, there wasn't much fentanyl on the street. Now that's pretty much everywhere. So how long before this Tranq drug becomes the norm in all opioids on the street?
You might think you're getting heroin, but next thing you know, you drop down, you die. It's a tranquilizer.
The new warning from federal authorities about an emerging public safety threat, fentanyl and other drugs mixed with the animal tranquilizer xylazine, is not a surprise to those who have dealt with recent overdose losses in the Boston area.
I know quite a few people that most likely passed away due to this new stuff.
Will Rivas tells us he just had 2 friends die last week and suspects the anesthetic approved for veterinary use with large animals is to blame.
It's just going to get worse. More people are going to die. You're going to have more people migrate over here because they're going to hear that people are dropping. Like I said, people want to get high when they hear people are dropping.
So to clarify what he said, because you might have missed that, what he's talking about is since the drug is so potent and people are passing out and dying, the drug addicts who normally use heroin, whatever, they're going to migrate to a place where they know that drug is present or that version of it because they wouldn't get that high of a high. But obviously, that's not going to work too well in their best interest.
Because they realize they think the effect is 10 times greater, which in reality it's not. It's just killing you.
Public health experts believe people are taking xylazine both unknowingly and intentionally because some people report that it lengthens the euphoric effects of fentanyl. Narcan, a crucial tool in saving lives in the opioid epidemic, is not effective with xylazine because it's not an opioid.
It's put my life in danger. Like when I woke up, it was like a shock, like a sense of something I can't explain.
So let's talk about that part. Okay, so the xylazine works independently of the opioid, but it helps to, I guess, increase the opioid's effectiveness. And since it kind of works independently, meaning it'll knock you out, could kill you, it can't be reversed by Narcan because it's not actually an opioid. Here's something else. The Narcan might help you get off the fentanyl, but you still got to do with the xylazine.
I've had a few friends that are now 6 feet under because of the issue.
This woman, who says she recently got off the streets, found a job, and is trying to stay clean, tells us she's worried that the escalating danger isn't sinking in with those at greatest risk.
It's scary to just even think about it. I'm about to cry. If I poison somebody with rat poisoning, I go to jail for murder. So if you're going to poison somebody with xylazine, you should be buried under the jail.
Repeated xylazine use is associated with skin ulcers and severe wounds, including the rotting of human tissue that can lead to amputation.
That's a lot right there. If you want to hear the rest of this or the full thing, like I said, link will be in the description. Also, IG link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But there's a lot there. Now, let's jump straight into the solutions, because a lot of you guys are going to say, well, look, ABL, this is the reason why the war on drugs is bad, because it's not helping. Things are just getting worse. I don't think that legalizing drugs is going to be the solution, because let's check this out. The drugs that are abused on the streets are actually legal drugs. Fentanyl is legal. Fentanyl comes from Big Pharma. That's an actual medication you can get depending upon the circumstances. You've had severe back injury, you were in a car accident, leg amputated, you got severe pain, they can actually prescribe you fentanyl from a hospital, from a doctor. But the problem is people got hooked on that. Like, let's say you got a car accident or something like that. They put you on some kind of opioid. They put you on Oxycontin. They put you on X, Y, and Z type of opioid to reduce your pain. But after you've healed, now you're still hooked on the actual pills from the doctor, the legal drugs. So now you got to go to the street to continue your high. A lot of people, like back when the opioid crisis first started in this country, it started with people getting put on Oxycontin for injuries, back injury, something like that. You're working at the coal mine, working at the shop, you break your back, they put you on these pills. Now you're addicted and you go to the street to get heroin to continue your fix. The pills cost too much when you get them from the federal government. Well, from Big Pharma. What's the difference? But getting them from Big Pharma costs too much. You're going to go right to the street to get a cheaper fix, which is the heroin. And on the street, you don't know what you're getting. You could be getting fentanyl. You could be getting Tranq. You could be getting whatever. Legalizing drugs won't really fix the problem, because most of these drugs are already legal. And what are we going to legalize fentanyl? Are we going to just have that on the street? Will there be any regulation? Alcohol and tobacco is regulated. Can you be 18 or 21, whatever the age is, to get these things? Can you be under that age? No, you can't. If somebody buys it for you, then that's a crime they committed. Aiding and abetting the offense of a minor, you can go to jail for that or get a fine or whatever the penalty is. It's not legal. So how are they going to do it with these drugs? Are they going to legalize Tranq? Are they going to legalize fentanyl? Are they going to legalize black tar heroin? I don't think so. They're going to have restrictions on it, even if all drugs were legalized. So the problem we face right now will not be fixed with legalized drugs. And one more thing as I close, drugs are a way to destabilize societies, to ruin societies. If there's a war being fought, the old school way is to go in there and drop bombs, maybe send some spies, do a little bit of internal destabilization within your government. You overthrow somebody like Muammar Gaddafi, he gets killed, we depose him, kill the country. You could do stuff like that. But what's happening right now, especially from the Chinese Communist Party, okay, you got this app called TikTok that they control. They could put whatever they want on there, and they can influence the minds of very young people because they know they're impressionable. They can just feed them whatever kind of garbage and make their minds become mush. It's digital fentanyl. Also, when you're talking about the actual fentanyl on the streets, where does that come from? China, for the most part. The precursors, meaning the chemicals to make fentanyl, come from China. China lets it happen. They don't really mind exporting drugs the same way they didn't mind exporting the C-19 bug, but that's a different story. I digress. They export these chemicals, the cartels get them, and then they flood our country with drugs. And as a result, you got a bunch of people on the streets that are not going to be able to function properly in society. It's going to spread like a virus. The C-19 is the least of our problems. The bigger issue is how drugs are just washing over us with no kind of kickback. Southern borders wide open. We don't really care about trying to sanction China. I mean, what are we going to do? Drugs are a serious problem. And if we just let this thing continue, it's going to get worse and worse. It's going to be new drugs. It's going to be these people that are out there trying to find this high. They're going to get high, younger and younger. You're going to have 13 and 14-year-olds getting these pills mailed to them straight from China and ODing right there on the spot. This is not a good thing. Don't legalize drugs. You got to fight against it. Are you going to be able to stop all drugs? No, you're not. But are you going to be able to stop all murder? Are you going to be able to stop all sexual assault? No, you can't. That does not mean you don't fight against it, in my humble opinion, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here with Tranq? Is it a serious problem? Have you seen this in your area, your neck of the woods in the country? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is a very serious thing, very dangerous. We need to take it seriously and not just act like, oh, well, so what? They're on drugs. Because you see people out there, the homeless, mentally ill, whatever, you can see them. But then what about when it's your own family member? You know, when your friend, your spouse, even when your kids, what about them? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.